This video is for part 2 of the Game of Life assignment. In part 1, we calculated your utility costs and your shopping expenses. On part 2, we're going to choose an education, an occupation, and figure out what our school loan cost is and what our income is. Now on this section, you do have to have some random numbers. If you were not present during class or have lost your paper, if you look on Google Classroom, I have a link to a random number generator that will allow you to roll your numbers for these sections. I, however, have a dice that is six-sided and will be using it to calculate my numbers. I also have an attachment on this part of the assignment on Google Classroom that has a document that shows the information about the different degrees and their prices, as well as the different occupation options and their gross yearly income. Let's start with education. So I'm going to go with my actual profession of teacher, because that is one of the ones listed on the handout assignments. So if you look at teacher on the papers, a teacher requires a bachelor's degree, and they get $58,030 per year. I wish I earned that much. I do not. Texas is a low-paying teacher income state, so I'm going to write those down. Now, if you were one of the first or second period students, you may not have these lines on your paper. I decided to reprint the assignment for the afternoon classes after I discovered how much trouble people were having at knowing where to write things down. So your paper may look a little bit different. That's okay. So since I know teacher requires a bachelor's, that's what I'm going to write over here under education level. So I'm going to look at the list of costs of educations. Bachelor's costs $120,000. So I'm going to write that as my education cost. Now, I'm not going to wind up paying all of that, or I may not. I have to look at this section here. It involves rolling the university die. So some schools cost more or less than others. And while in real life, you would choose your own school and figure out how much it costs by looking at them and make your choice then, this is going to be chosen randomly by using the dice. So I'm going to roll the number, and I got unlucky. So that's going to be 100%. However, for the purposes of this video, I don't want to do 100% because that simplifies the math. I want to show you how to calculate with an actual percentage. So let's try that one more time. 2. All right, I got lucky that time. So I'm going to pay 60% of this cost. Before I can calculate what that's going to be, I have to convert this to a decimal. Whenever you see a percentage sign, just imagine it's telling you divide by 100. So I'm going to take my calculator, and I'm going to do 60 divided by 100. That gives me 0.6. So that's what I'm going to multiply my listed education cost by to get my actual school costs. So I'm going to do 120,000, make sure you have all the zeros, times 0.6. That means I'm going to be paying $72,000. So I'm going to write that down as my school cost. Now, you will be getting a grant of some kind. It could be as low as 25% of your cost or as high as 65% of your cost. Again, this is decided randomly, while in real life, this would be determined by your academic performance. So I'm going to roll the die again, and I got 3. So 3 is going to be 40%. So what I now need to do is calculate what 40% of my cost is. So again, percentage means divide by 100. So I'm going to do 40 divided by 100 gives me 0.4. I'm going to multiply 72,000 by 0.4. That'll tell me how much my grant is paying for. So 72,000 times 0.4 gives me $28,800. So I'm going to write that down, $28,800. So this is how much my grant and financial aid is covering. I now need to know how much do I still have to pay, because in the game of life, if you're doing education, you have to get a school loan. So I'm going to take my original school cost and subtract the amount that the grant is covering. So 72,000 minus 28,800 leaves me with $43,200. That's how much of a school loan I'm going to need. Now I'm going to have some interest rate on that, and I'm going to be paying it off over the course of 15 years. That's where this 15 comes from. So again, since this is a percentage, I need to divide by 100. So 6.5 divided by 100 gives me 0.065. I'm going to make a note of that. And now I'm going to follow the instructions. It says C times D times 15. Notice it has C, D. So I'm going to do 43,200 times 0.065 times 15. So you get the calculator. 43,200 times 0.065 times 15. That gives me interest owed of $42,120. Now what I want to show you real quick is look how close these numbers are. This is how much I actually borrowed. This is how much I'm going to have to pay in just interest. This means that when you do a student loan, you can wind up paying twice as much as you would have otherwise. This is why in real life, you should avoid student loans if at all possible. Build some credit and see if you can get a regular loan from a bank to pay for college, or see if your college will offer you a payment plan. Try to find some other option other than doing a student loan if you can at all. Or maybe take a couple years off and save up for it. Up to you. So now I got to figure out how much I'm paying in total. So I'm going to take my loan amount and my interest, C and E, and add them together to get the total owed. So I'm going to do 43,200 plus 42,120. That means I'm going to be paying off a total of $85,320. Now, I'm not going to be paying this all at once. I'm going to be paying it once a month for 15 years. If you do 12 months times 15 years, that gives you 360 months or 360 payments. That's where this number comes from. So I'm going to divide this up by 360 to see how much I'm going to be paying per month. So 85,320 divided by 360 gives me a monthly payment of $237. Now, if you go back to part 1 in your budget, you can take this number and write it in. So here under the budget, I'm going to go to school loan payment and take this $237 and write it in this box. And I'll show you how to continue on with your occupation in the next part.